really believe that the reason this is happening is because they want me to lose the property. They want me to not be able to pay the taxes or pay the bills and lose the property. I truly believe what God has for you is for you. What God has for me is for me. And it was clearly meant for our organization to own this property so we could do what we are wanting to do or attempting to do in the community. However, the goal for the administration, we believe, is to starve us out so that we will lose the property and they can come in and just take it. But at this point, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, the mayor of Dolton blocks growth in Dolton. So, and this involves Keith Freeman. Everything seems to involve Keith. He seems like he's everywhere. He's all over the place. Seems like he gets himself in, he has his hands in everything. So I'm going to show you guys some of the back and forth that's going on with Dr. Scott and what she's trying to do to what Keith Freeman is trying to do.
Foot strip mall on 142nd and King Drive with a vision to revitalize the area, to create the ABBA Recreation and Resource Center.
We had high hopes to be able to work with the current administration, Tiffany Henyard and her administration over at the Village of Dolton. However, since we closed on the property in June of 2023, we have not been able to do that. We have had meetings, I wrote a letter. We've made several attempts to really make this work. However, we're at a standstill.
Yet, despite her best efforts, progress stalls. Mayor Tiffany Henyard and her administrator Keith Freeman halts her plans, denying permits crucial for community growth and development.
I went and got my pastor, and he went and got Keith Freeman and another gentleman. It was supposed to be the four of us who were going to go in together and purchase this property to do some really good work in the community. I thought that that was the way to go. You know, I spoke with Keith Freeman about it, and he says, well, you know, the owners have so many things that they need to do with the property, so on and so forth. But the deal fell through. It didn't work. They want me to lose the property. They want me to not be able to pay the taxes or pay the bills and lose the property. I know the mayor talks about how she wants to make progress. And initially, we wanted to do that with her. However, because of their interest in the property, there has not been any assistance for us.
So basically, it's we're not going to help give up so we can take this property and try to make as much money out of it as possible. Now, Dr. Scott is trying to build a 83,000 square foot community outreach center. And the two people who are blocking it are the super mayor and Keith Freeman. As super mayor likes to put on her propaganda videos before, as the meetings go underway, she puts it in showing that she's doing this and she's building this and she's doing all these fantastic, awesome things. Able to go to Washington, D.C. and TikTok the entire time that she's hanging out there. And this person is actually doing some amazing work trying to build and uplift the community, and they are in her way. It's pretty sad to see someone trying to figure something out. And because it looks like Keith Freeman is involved with this property deal, that he does not want her to have it. I mean, what other reason for this to continue? I don't know if Dr. Scott was... did she say anything about the super mayor in the past? It looks like, Tiffany does tend to use the police to provide some level of intimidation to people who don't vote for her or who criticize her in the past. You can see how she's treating the other trustees, not, canceling meetings. The way the meetings go back and forth, very contentious, very nasty, the way she talks to the trustees. Sometimes even Keith Freeman. You guys can check out I'm sure the next meeting. Cherry, let me know when is the next meeting that the mayor is going to be there. Maybe I'll live stream it. It's very, very intense. And it's a lot of, lecturing and finger wagging coming from the mayor. And then the Keith Freeman kind of jumps in and, just like what the individual investor said, he is the side, he is the side chick, if you want to use that term, the side dude.
Negotiations for public works that they wasn't paying it until May 1st of 2024, which is the next fiscal year. So if you have this money allocated in the 2024, 2025 budget, but you don't plan on paying them till 2025, 2026 budget, then why is it allocated in there? So if you're going to say that the 6.8 the appropriation, then that means that everything that he read in October should be in there too, since we're talking about transparency and all these grants. So that should be in there also. And those are not being reflected in there.
Are you done?
Yes.
All right, go ahead, Keith.
Was that a question that you were asking whether or not it was reflected, or is that a statement that you were making?
That's a question.
Because I believe that it's reflected in the $6.8 million. It's not individually broke out, but you didn't ask us to individually break it out, nor did you ask a question about that. So I think the first thing is before you make an assumption on a budget, you should probably ask the question.
I'm not assuming anything.
I'm just going based off of what you just said. So the second thing is that I would like to know what accounting firm helped you guys put together this budget. How do you guys plan on making up for the $500,000 that we're going to lose for Homewood disposal? You're not passing the bond later on. And did you guys think of anything? I mean, did you guys have any help with this? Is there anyone that helped you with this, or are you guys just going off you guys' basic accounting skills?
Is that a question?
That's a question. Are you going off what you learned in college? Is this something that you learned in day camp?
Agreeing with everything that she's saying, showing no ability to say, hey, this is a bad idea. Maybe we should do this or do that. It looks like they're just together to continue to do whatever they want to do. Professor, what you say? Yeah, I mean, it's just someone used the reality show Parks and Rec to compare this situation, the way Mayor Tiffany Henyard uses social media, and she wants to get as famous as possible. Like I said, I'd never seen someone so happy when they went to the White House and had that TikTok, and she's smiling and taking pictures. It just seems like, well, the way she looked, it seemed like she had everything in order back home. Like everything is in order. Everything is running smoothly. Everyone is getting along as best as possible. The vendors are getting paid. Everything is transparent. I can go out and enjoy myself in Washington, D.C. And that's like the total opposite. Like everything is all screwed up. Like, how are you even out there smiling? It's kind of hilarious. A really good question here. Can you tell me how American politics allow this to happen? I'm from Canada. If my mayor did this, people would be trying to get them removed right away. They've tried to remove. So they had recalls. There was an issue with the recall where they tried to put the referendum to recall and then the recall vote in the same election. I think obviously the courts deemed that was not, I guess, something you can do, and that recall failed. But in terms of American politics, I mean, I think I feel like it's based on human nature in some aspects of people trying to get as much power as possible. The people who have the most resources command the most power. And once money is involved, hundreds of thousands of dollars, or even millions of dollars are involved, you will notice people flipping and doing things to ensure they get as much of those resources as possible. Also, you have to think about who wants to be a politician or a CEO of a company, or who wants those powerful positions. Usually the people who get those powerful positions have the kind of personality of wanting to be the best, to be the strongest person in the room, to have that type A personality. And if you're a type A personality, but you also are unethical and you don't care about hurting over the next person, this is where it comes to be. And I think that's where American politics is. The corporations run the country. They have the money, they have the influence, the lobbyists, and the politicians are just kind of dancing to who gives them the most money or has the most influence. Because at this point, if you want to be elected to anything, you need money. You need lots of it. I mean, some of the campaign costs here in our country is ridiculous. Like there's billionaires pumping millions of dollars into a candidate, and there'll be no way for this person to come up with that kind of funds on their own, or even do it, crowdfunding the people in the community. So that's where it is. I mean, I guess it's a long-winded answer. That American politics has a lot of issues, and for some odd reason, the state of Illinois, I'm sorry guys, but it's a long history of corruption, and corruption is everywhere. It's everywhere, but it's a lot of corruption, and it just seems like it's a weird pattern of the certain type of person who decides to be a mayor or a senator, or like it's always something, or a governor. Like it's something where it definitely goes the wrong way. dresses as Neo Brown. Yeah, that's probably the one video that kind of grabbed me into this story when I started doing videos on her. But the gall, like the audacity to go into a meeting and act like you're Nino Brown and not have the self-awareness to realize like Nino Brown was a crack dealer. Like he was a crack dealer that took over a projects in New York City to sell crack and have people in the worst positions ever. He wasn't a hero. He wasn't a politician. He wasn't the mayor. He was a crack dealer that was making millions of dollars a week. So it doesn't make sense. So why would she decide to cosplay as Nino Brown? It doesn't make sense to me. Aaron has yeah. Well, it was just done. It was like it's a technicality, basically, right? I mean, and that recall did have, I think it had 56%. Like it had enough people to say, yeah, get this person out here. I don't think this is working out. You could find political drama in any small town. Yes, giggity. And I've been realizing that now since I've done a few of these videos based on the mayor, super mayor, and others, that there's a lot of mayors doing terrible things. It's kind of baffling. And it's, obviously it's not, I'm sure it probably is major cities, but small cities in America where people are just like ripping everyone off. Aaron says, if we find out they're dating, does this turn into a RICO case? Interesting. I believe she has a dude, and I think the dude is on the payroll, if I remember correctly. So everyone is getting paid. It's like a mob. It's like, those criminal organizations, you bring your people, you bring your folks, regardless if they are qualified, clearly, because Keith Freeman he's not qualified for that job. And then also Tiffany Henyard hiring a sex offender. Why? Because that's her friend. She didn't bother to check a background check or any background check. And that's my homeboy. Bring him in despite the fact that he had, a sexual offender. Like, no, it just so certain things she does to make sure that her people are taken care of, and the people who are against her, she does what she does. Yeah. Talking about her own security force, where millions of dollars to protect her. And I know now with her, I know she will complain and say, well, all the lies that have been talked about me, especially people who look like me. She said this in the last meeting that she was there, basically insinuating that Black people are either the content creators or people who just talk and criticizing her, that we turn her down, and that's supposed to be our people, some nonsense like that. But she's saying that she probably needs the protection now because a lot of her misdeeds are national now or international at this point. I mean, when I saw the last big meeting when she was there, I mean, there's people in that live stream shot from everywhere, like Jamaica, like everywhere. Because this story it's kind of hard to believe that this is happening. Actually, now we want to know what is going on. And if these things are true, he should not be hired. He should be let go. And in fact, the days that he's still there just hurts the super mayor more. Dave, people asking why the feds haven't jumped. They won't go in until they know they can stick football numbers. Then they'll go after everyone. Yeah, I mean, once they got enough to where they could just go storming in, then the indictments are coming in. Things will get really, really. She's not, the super mayor is not going to have a good time when the feds come in. The feds don't play. Even if you like the FBI or not, Let's see. Yes, the feds are always watching. Let's see. Yeah, and that's a good comment from Professor. Everyone is making. Yeah, it is like it's a hustle. They're hustling the people of Dolton of what they're doing, how they even just able to just snatch all these resources to travel the country, to set up fake charities, to buy these luxury vehicles, to hold someone that's trying to do something positive for her community, hold that property hostage, waiting for her to quit so they can snoop up and take it. It seems like what happened was, it's kind of similar to me and deviled eggs. If you leave a plate of deviled eggs and say guarded, it's hard for me to not take one. I think what happened is with Freeman and Tiffany Henyard here, they were entrusted with all of this resources and money. And since they have criminal histories of, at least with Keith Freeman, theft, and obviously with her too, breaking into a property, going into places that don't belong to her, properties that she doesn't belong to, they went crazy. They went absolutely insane. And when other people, the trustees said, hey, what's going on with the money? Like, what's happening here? Like, hey, you stop giving us receipts and transactions. What's going on? The vendors are asking for money. We can't pay lawyers. What's up? And then she just, everything locked down. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to be really condescending and rude to you every time we speak. And that's the current state of what's going on. I mean, that's basically what it is.